Exchange for the release of 150 Palestinian women and children held in Israeli prisons. The 4-day pause could be extended if Hamas agrees to keep releasing 10 hostages a day. Hamas and other militant groups in Gaza are believed to be holding about 240 hostages seized during Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel. According to the Palestinian group Addameer, Israel's now holding about 7,000 Palestinian political prisoners. That's up from 5,000 before October 7th. More than 2,000 of the jailed Palestinians are being held indefinitely without charge. Palestinian news outlets have reported 6 Palestinians who are being detained without charge have died in recent weeks. In Gaza, some residents welcome the news of the 4-day pause to the Israeli bombing.
We hope the ceasefire will be good. We've been waiting for this ceasefire. We've been hoping for it. We pray for peace for all people so we can be done with all these challenges we are facing. We have been fleeing from one place to another. We hope the ceasefire will be good and that we will see positive solutions from this. We pray for ceasefire. We pray for people to live in peace so they can go back to their jobs and houses to have stability.
In Israel, families of the hostages called on the Israeli government to secure the release of everyone seized on October 7th. This is Nir Shani, whose 16-year-old son Amit is being held hostage in Gaza.
Any person who will be released is good, is important. Eventually we need them all. But if it's had to be slice by slice, so be it. We need to establish this release. The best thing is that everybody will be released at the same time. But as I said, some can stay in that situation for a bit longer, and some will not be able to hold on. So we have to start doing the deals and get them back to us.
We're joined now by Daniel Levy, the president of the U.S. Middle East Project. He served as an Israeli peace negotiator under Prime Ministers Ehud Barak and Yitzhak Rabin. His piece for the New York Times earlier this month was headlined "The Road Back from Hell." We're going to get to that in a moment, Daniel. Thanks so much for joining us again. But we want to start off with this deal that has been reached. We know a good deal about the horrific story of the hostages who are being held, Hamas is holding, or other groups in Gaza, about 240 of them. We know less about the Palestinian prisoners, the women and children. It's going to be 3-1. They will release 150 Palestinian prisoners for 50 hostages. Can you tell us about these people who are in prison? We don't know specifically, though the Israeli government is releasing their names. But who is held in Palestinian jails? Who are these women and children?
Well, I think, Amy, that first of all, let's acknowledge this is a rare glimmer of hope. It will be very good to see those Israelis who will be coming home. It's so important to have those 4 or 5 days without bombardment, without civilian losses in Gaza. It's horrendous if we then return to where we have been in these last 40 plus terrible days. To see those women and children hanging out. I can't speak to the names, we don't know this.
Yeah, that's a hard program.
Mentioned the Palestinian organization Addameer. I suggest people look up that organization, which advocates on behalf of Palestinian prisoners. By the way, the last government in Israel, the government of Bennett, Lapid, Gantz, super extremists, as we've come to know them, to the other government. That organization is one of 6 Palestinian NGOs that was deemed criminal, terrorist by the Israeli government. Israel has different ways of trying and convicting or not convicting Palestinians that it then holds in its prisons. The issue of child detention is something that Defense of the Child International has particularly drawn attention to, the number of children who end up in Israeli prisons who go through military trials. Israel uses military courts. Women are part of the resistance, part of the struggle. Some Palestinians who Palestinians are part of that struggle. Others are there on really spurious accusations. And then Israel has a system of administrative detention where it will hold people without trial. It will say, the security establishment will say to the courts, this is too sensitive, we can't share the information, and people can be held indefinitely under administrative detention. So that's the ways in which they are held. As we've heard, more than 2,000 have been arrested, I think maybe 2,500 in the West Bank since the start, since October 7th. So we're going to get some of those out now, the women and children, and I imagine if there are going to be further prisoner releases, if there are going to be further releases from Gaza, you will have exchanges of prisoners of those Palestinians being held.
Daniel, we're going to break and come back to you. We're going to try to call you on the phone to get a better sound from your system. Daniel Levy is the president of the U.S. Middle East Project, former Israeli peace negotiator with the Palestinians at Taba under Prime Minister Ehud Barak and at Oslo B under Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin. We'll be linking with him in a moment.